Hey guys, it's Raven here, and as promised, I am making a video on how to do a granny square for the first week of the granny square crochet along. This is the one that we're gonna do. This is kind of like your basic standard granny square that everybody's seen in the world. I am not a teacher, and so yeah, there's that. We're gonna try to see if my video is helpful at all compared to the 800 videos that are on YouTube that you can look up. I did look up a whole bunch trying to prepare for this, and I did realize that every one of them is different for all making the same square. So if you've learned a different way, do it your way. If you want to watch the other videos and do them that way, do them that way. I don't really give a shit. It's your life. Do what you want to do. But if you want to see how I do it, here's how. And I don't know everybody's crochet levels, so I'm going to try to be slow and yeah. But ask questions if you got them. So first, I've got the end of the yarn. Oh, hey, I'm just using, this is the yarn that I'm using. It doesn't really matter. It's like a light worsted weight. Use whatever yarn you got. I am also using a size 5mm crochet hook. I do suggest, it's not a rule, but look at whatever yarn that you're working with, and somewhere on it, it'll tell you suggested crochet size. This yarn suggests a 4mm crochet hook size. But I'm using a 5 because it's what I have right next to me, and I don't want to go dig through my supplies because I don't really care enough to do that. And this one works just fine. So it's kind of a suggestion, but not really a rule. Again, live your life. So I've got the end of my thread. I'm going to do a slip knot. I'm hoping that I stay in frame, but I'm doing a slip knot. However you do a slip knot. This is one of those things that you do it so many times, like in your life, that you don't even know how you do it. Your hands just do it. But do a slip knot. Then I'm going to stick my yarn crochet hook into that hole. Be careful not to use this tail. I have done that frequently, and it just means you have to pull it out, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. This is how I hold my thread. Do whatever works for you. You can look up different ways of doing it. I know Allie does this all a little differently. She holds her hook like this. I don't. So again, there's many ways of doing things. Let's get into this. I'm already at like 3 minutes. Holy shit, this is gonna take forever. Okay, so I'm gonna do 4 chains. I'm gonna do where I yarn over, pull the hook through. That's 1. Yarn over, pull the hook through. 2. Yarn over, pull the hook through. 3. Yarn over, pull the hook through. That's 4 chains. Then I'm going to take my hook and go into that very first chain, that very first hook. And then I'm going to do what's called a slip stitch, where I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those puppies. There we go. That worked nicely. So I have now got a circle right there. All the stitches we're going to do for that first round, if you look on this one, we've just done the circle, and now we're going to do this layer right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 little chunks. Now I'm going to do chain 3 at the beginning of the row. 1, 2, 3. That takes the place of our very first double crochet stitch in this chunk right here. So I chained those 3, and then I'm going to turn mine. Other people do this differently, but I do it this way. I turn. Now we're going to do a double crochet stitch. To do that, we yarn over, go into that center hole, and then we're going to pull through that center hole. Then we go yarn over again, through 2, through 2. That is a double crochet stitch. I'm going to do another one of those, yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, Then I'm going to go through 2. Oops. See, it's not always perfect. Then I'm going to go through those 2. So we've just did 2 double crochet stitches plus those 3 chains here that acts as a double crochet stitch. So we have just done a chunk here. Now we got to do this corner to get over to these next ones. To do the corner, you're just going to chain 2. Chain 1, chain 2. Then we're going to do 3 more. Yarn over, into the hole, pull up 1, go through 2, go through 2. Again, yarn over, into the hole, yarn over, pull up 1, then through 2, through 2. One more time, yarn over, into the hole, pull up that hook, yarn over, go through 2, go through 2. So we now have 1 chunk and another chunk. So we have wherever you wanted to start here, 1 chunk and then another chunk. And then another corner here. So we got to do 2 more chains. 1, 2. 3 more. Yarn over, into the hole, pull up, through 2, through 2. Yarn over, into the hole, yarn over, pull, through 2, through 2. And again, yarn over, into the hole, through 2, through 2. Feel free to hit pause to catch up, or hit stop, or fast forward. I don't really care. Do what you're gonna do. Again, it's your life. We are at another corner. Chain 2. This is our last one because we have 1 chunk, 2 chunk, 3 chunk. We need 4 because we're making a square. It's in the name, granny square. Yarn over, into that hole. Pull up, through 2, through 2. Yarn over, into the hole. Pull up, through 2, through 2. Yarn over, into the hole, pull up, through 2, through 2. All right, we are at the end. We still need that last corner, so we're going to chain 1, chain 2. There we go. Now we are ready to do what they call joining in the round. Okay, so we need to join where we are on the hook with the top of this stitch over here. Go in. So, the beginning of that chain 3. Chain 3, you can see 1, 2, 3. So we need to go into the top of that chain. You'll get to where you can kind of just know where you need to go. I'm going in there. I got one of them. We're just going to stick with 1. That one, like, you're supposed to go through 2. You're supposed to go through 2. I'm going to try to do it right. Oftentimes I just fudge it because nobody's ever going to know. And I'm shaking because I'm nervous. There we go. Boop. Yarn over. Whoa, hey, my dog's moving under that blanket. You see that pink blanket with the cupcakes on it? I have a dog underneath there. There we go. And then we slip stitch those together. I'm going to pull out a little more yarn. Could you guys actually see? Yeah, there's a dog under here. Life. All right, so we have done the first round of the granny square. Now we're going to go chain 3 to get that acts as our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then I turn. All right, so on this row, we're doing this one around here. We're starting here. We're starting in a corner, so we still got to make it a corner. So we're gonna do 2 sets of those 3, right? We've already got 1 started here, so we're gonna go yarn over, into the hole, pull up, through 2. Yarn over, pull up through 2 through 2. So I now have my first 3-stitch chunk. Sorry about that little glitch. My phone lied to me and told me that my storage was full, and that's bullshit. So we're back, and we are doing this corner. We're going to do another chunk of those 3. Yarn over, in, pull up, through 2 through 2. Yarn over, pull up, 2 through 2. Yarn over, pull up, through 2 through 2. So we've just created a corner. Now we're going to jump up over to this next hole. Oh, and between these 2 chunks, we're going to chain 1. So in between all these chunks is a chain 1. We're creating the space for the next row up. So let's go into this corner here, yarn over, and we're going to do a chunk of 3. Do, boop, boop. I don't know if you need me singing. Yarn over, through 2 through 2 for each chunk, or each stitch, but yeah, whatever. By now you're probably fast forwarding or rewinding, or I don't know, pausing, I'm not sure. So we're in another corner, so we're going to chain 2 and do another chunk of 3. 1, 2, 3. See, we're getting a square, and we need to create a space for the next row up. So I'm going to chain 1, coming back over to this next hole, and do our first chunk of 3. 1, 2, 3. We're at a corner. So I'm going to do another chain 2, and then 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Got to create that space for the next row up, so I chain 1, and we're coming again to this next hole here. 1, 2, 3. We are at a corner, so we are chaining 2, in again, and do another chunk of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we are ready to join in the round again. You see our little square? It's so little, it's growing. So we are going to again go in to that top stitch that's over here. It gets fiddly, but I have faith in you. You can do it. Gonna yarn over and pull carefully through all of them. Ta-da! So now we got to jump up to the next row here. Say we are right here in it. We're going to chain 3, and then because we turn, we're going that way. So I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. The reason that I chain and turn is because we're going into this spot, and since I'm attached to this side, we need to build this way. If I didn't chain, we'd be going forward, and that doesn't really go with the pattern. So I'm going to turn it, flip it, turn it, flop it like a pancake. Now we're going into this hole here. And see, we're not in a corner, we're right in the middle, so we're only doing 3. This one counts as 1. Going in, pull up, through 1, through 2. In, pull up, through 2, through 2. So now we have 3. Now we are jumping over here to a corner. got to chain 1 to make space for the row ahead, row above. Then we're gonna yarn over and go in and do our first, chunk of 3, 2, 3. We're at a corner, so we got to chain 2 and then go back into that one because we're keeping it a corner. 1, 2, 3. All right, gotta make room for the row up top, so I'm chaining 1. Now this is just one right in the middle, it's not a corner. So we're just doing 1 group of 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, now we are going into a corner. Chain 1 to make room for that one up top. And we're going into the corner. So we're going to do 2 chunks of 3. 1, 2, 3. Since we are in a corner, chain 2. I'm sure this is getting repetitive, but that is the nature of the beast. That is why this shit can be so relaxing. You get into a rhythm and your hands start to learn that muscle memory and it becomes really relaxing. We're going into the middle or like one of the long parts of the square, not a corner. Chain 1, make room, and then we're doing a first chunk of 3. Well, not first chunk of 3, but we're doing just a chunk of 3 in this one. 1, 2, 3. Who says sobriety is boring? Chain 1, we're going into a corner. I guess boring depends on your definition. Personally, I have found it so nice to keep my hands busy. So I'm going into that corner, like I said. First chunk of 3. At a corner, so chain 2. If it helps at all, I don't know if it helps anybody's brains. When we're doing these side ones in between, we do 1 chain for 1 chunk of 3. On the corner, we're doing 2 chains because we're doing 2 chunks of 3. That's a nice little correlation. If you do go online and look up a bunch of videos, a lot of the ones, if you hear somebody with a European accent, they're going to use a different terminology. Sometimes they'll let you know that it's a different terminology. Other times they won't. In the UK, this stitch that I'm doing right here, yarn over, pull up, go through 1, 2, and then 2. In Europe, they call that a triple crochet or a treble crochet. For us, we call it a double crochet. Yarn over, you pull. So in American, the only thing I can think of is yarn over. Let's see, you pull up and then you start counting 1, 2. So it's a double crochet. In Europe, I think they count it differently. Yarning over, you go in, they go 1, 2, 3, and call it a triple crochet. I'm not gonna lie, I think Europe's smarter than us, but it's something to pay attention to when you're reading a pattern or watching somebody that this in American, if it's English, this is called a double crochet. yarn over, pull up, and then we start counting. 1, 2, double, right? Yarn out, yarn in, up, 1, 2, yarn over, pull up, 1, 2. Ooh, and I just lost that one, so pull it out. Yeah, I'm just gonna join in the round, and I'm gonna go up a little bit further, but you can see we've got a granny square. We've got a granny square in a corner, so I'm gonna do 1, 2 in. Now I'm doing the second chunk of this corner. Boop. Alrighty, we are ready to join in the round. So I am just going to again go up to the top. I hope I'm in frame. I have no fucking clue. Go into those 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through 2. So for all intents and purposes, you now have a granny square. That is a granny square. Ta-da! You did it! It's freaking awesome! We're amazing! Woot woot! From here, you can keep going. It's the same shit over and over and over again. Chain up, flip it, figure out where you are. You're right, you would be right here. You're gonna do the chunk that goes in this hole, then you're at a corner. And then it keeps telling me that my storage is full and my storage is not fucking full. Anyways, so yeah, that's where we're at. Make as many as you want, but for the first week, just the assignment is make 1. But if you want to keep going, make more. My suggestion is to let's see, how many rows did I do in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like 5. It's a nice odd number. For some reason, I like it. I don't know. Find a size. Like if you're gonna do it this size, which I don't really recommend because it's just kind of tiny, I suggest keep going. Do 4 or 5 or depending. Get to a size that you like, and then from there on out, keep trying to make all of the ones that we do a similar-ish size. I know when we get into different patterns, they're going to turn out different sizes, and that's okay because maybe in a few months or a year, we'll talk about adding on borders to make them all the same size. I hope this helps. I love you guys. I love you.